The Peace Corps Sustainable Library Development Training Package is designed with the knowledge that while many Peace Corps volunteers work on library projects, most are not trained in either library and information science or in sustainable library development. It was designed with input from the field and from technical experts, and it includes lesson plans from librarians in collaboration with training experts. These session plans should be reviewed in advance in order to adapt them to the local context, language, gender, and culture issues. There are 8 sessions in the library training package, including one 75-minute standalone session for trainees to complete in pre-service training. The remaining 7 sessions build on each other and should therefore be completed sequentially. These sessions are specifically designed for trainees or volunteers who will be involved in libraries as part of their primary work assignment or as a secondary project activity. Each plan includes specific trainer preparation notes for the Information Resource Center manager to review in advance, and they include instructions for preparing session materials, as you can see here. It includes trainer preparation notes, needed materials, available handouts, trainer materials, and the session learning objective, as well as a lesson outline. Session 1, Peace Corps Resources for Library Projects, prepares participants for library development projects by introducing them to the Peace Corps Information Collection and Exchange publications, otherwise known as ICE, that will be useful guides throughout the process. Session 2, Introduction to Sustainable Library Development, introduces the concepts of sustainability and first, do no harm in the context of library development. Session 3, Information Resources for Library Projects, is an overview of information resources that are available both from the Peace Corps and from outside organizations. These resources provide guidance for volunteers in developing and managing library projects. Session 4, Steps for Setting Up a Library, provides participants with a set of 7 steps for setting up a library and provides practice for Step 1, Form a Library Committee. A set of specific steps provides participants with a framework to consider, explore, plan, develop, initiate, and manage a potential sustainable library development project. Session 5 is the library field trip. This session provides an opportunity for participants to visit at least one local library or resource center in their country in order to observe and gain insights which would be valuable for local library projects. This session is particularly helpful in order to introduce participants to local information resources and to encourage them to establish contacts, begin networking, and gather ideas that might be appropriate for implementation in their community libraries. The session is optional if it is not logistically possible to include a field trip in the in-service training. Session 6, Organization and Classification, introduces the concept of organization through classification in the library context. Participants are given the opportunity to practice several classification systems which could be used in a local library. Organization and classification enable library resources to be easily located and used by library visitors. Session 7, Borrowing and Lending, introduces systems of borrowing and lending which participants could adapt to use in a local library project. And finally, Session 8, Supplementary Services, provides a brief overview of library supplementary services which may enhance and enrich the role of the library in a community. Additional training materials can be found both in the Peace Corps training package, which we previously referenced here, as well as here at the Sustainable Library Development LibGuide from the Peace Corps, which is broken down into resources for each session, as well as additional sample library materials, free library systems that can be used, etc. There are two different terminal learning objectives. For the standalone session, the learning objective is as follows: that by the end of the session, participants will use Peace Corps information collection and exchange publications to locate information for sustainable library development projects. And for the remaining 7 sessions, the learning objective is: using the steps for setting up a library, participants will form a community library committee to create and implement a sustainable library development plan.